Welcome to the Adobe Photoshop interface section of our study, and we are back at the start screen, as you can see. So the first thing I'd like for you to do is click on Create New, and we'll be taken back to the preset page. And what I'd like for you to do is, on the right hand side, copy all this dimension. Okay, so we want to see 1,000 pixels for width, 1,000 pixels for height. Orientation doesn't really matter since both width and height are the same, so pretty much you're creating a square. Resolution should be at 72 pixels per inch. Color mode RGB, and we're going to have it at 8-bit. Okay, and the custom background, well, it doesn't really matter. You can choose white. You can keep it at custom if you happen to have it at custom, but what happens is when you select custom, the color picker opens up. So we're just going to press cancel, select white background, and there you have it right there. And the rest can stay the same. You may want to pause this video so you can give yourself time to copy these dimensions. And I'm just going to go ahead and press on create. And here we are at the interface. And looking around, you notice several things on my screen that you should have on your screen. Now on the left hand side, you see there are different icons here that represent different functions. Well, this entire area is called the toolbar. And as you can see, as I'm scrolling up over these icons, some of them display hints and name which tools we are referring to. And I can actually remove the toolbar, and you don't have to try this, but by grabbing the upper bar, I can actually move this toolbar out into this platform. And you'll notice that there are two sections of the toolbar. There is this arrow, okay, that kind of makes the toolbar into a double column feature, or you can click on the arrow again and return it back to a single column. Throughout these tutorials, I'll be utilizing the single column, but you can use any kind of feature you want. And I just had a thought. You might say, well, hold on there, Mr. Hague. What if I don't see the toolbar? I'm sure you do, but just in case you don't, or in case somehow you lose the toolbar, here's how you recover it. Go to Window and scroll all the way down to Tools. And you notice that when I X'd out of the toolbar, there is no check mark there. Well, I need you to put a check mark both Tools and Options. So I'm going to click on Tools. I'm going to go back to Window. Give it a second there. And you'll notice that both Tools and Options are selected, and they go hand in hand. Here's my toolbar. And once again, you will notice that there's a little groove there on the very top, right below the X and the arrows. And I can move it anywhere I'd like. But preferably, I like to keep this on the left side. And so I'm going to go ahead and move it back. And I can keep it as a floating palette if I like. But if I slowly but surely kind of inch it towards, I should be able to see this blue effect. You see that? This blue effect means it's ready to merge into the interface. And I let go, and there they are. Pretty cool, I'd say. Now in time, we will go over to what each of these tools represent and what they do. But also what I'd like you to see here is that if you notice that on the bottom right of each icon, there's a small little arrow that's pointing down. And if you press and hold your mouse, you'll notice that what it really means is that this particular tool has different options. In the case right here, I have the marquee tool selected. I have a circular marquee tool, but I also have a rectangle. And so if I click on the rectangle, well, look what happens. I got my rectangle. And I will go ahead and create a rectangle, and just for the fun of it, I'm going to go ahead and fill it with the foreground color. There we have it. If I press and hold and choose the elliptical, okay, I will go ahead and create somewhat of a circle, and right click, fill, and this time I'm going to choose the background color. Well, how did I choose between foreground and background? Well, if you notice these little icons over here, the yellow is the foreground color, and the background, which is behind the yellow, is the background color. And as I mentioned before, we're going to go over each and every one of these tools in time. I'm not going to tell you what they are right now because, well, it'll be just overwhelming because there's so much that can be done just by using this side of Photoshop. There is a feature I do want to show you that helps you maintain and make sure that we have the tools that we need. Now, on a Mac, you may want to go to Edit, and all the way down here it says Toolbar. So we're going to edit the toolbar. We click on it and we get this dialog box. Now on a Windows, I would imagine that it's also in the same place, Edit, Toolbar, and you can get the same dialog. You can also refer to the Help menu right here and just type in Toolbar or Tool, and maybe you'll be taken to the same area where you can edit the toolbar. Or, very simply, if you click on these three dots over here, you can go ahead and click on it and you'll find Edit Toolbar right there. And it takes you to the same sort of dialog box where, well, we can actually add or remove the tools. Very simple. Now you notice right here that you've got rectangle and elliptical. Well, on the right hand side, earlier I removed this. It's called a single row marquee tool. Well, what if I put it back? Watch what I do. I'm going to put something back into the toolbar. Well, I'm just going to click and move it right below the elliptical tool. Now make sure that you have full control of the mouse here. You're still clicking, you're still holding, because while the blue guide tells you where this tool will land, it can also accidentally go down here in between toolbars or into another section we don't want. So I'm going to carefully place it underneath the elliptical tool and let go. I'm going to press done and look what happens. It actually appears along with the rectangle and the single row marquee tool. Well, not wanting that, I'm going to go ahead and press on this icon here, go back to the edit toolbar, and I'm simply going to click and drag it out and leave it out. Now, if you happen to see the single column marquee tool and the single row marquee tool inside the marquee tool icon set, well, it's okay. You can leave it there, but we will probably not use it. Now you'll also notice that as I click through each and every icon, notice the top section over here. The top section is what is known as options. And remember I had said under Window, make sure Options is selected. Well, each and every one of these icons, these tools, if you will, has a different set of options. And every one of these have something special. Every one of these icons have a different value, different purpose, and of course different options. And that's the toolbar. We'll get to know this area pretty darn well in the future. Very near future. Now in the top section, just like any other software, you have a menu system here. And each and every menu system, well, it's pretty similar to other kinds of software. You have File New, you have File Open, File Close. On the Edit section, we have ways to fill in a color. We have ways to edit the toolbar, as we have just seen. We can actually find image and image size. So every one of these, just like the toolbar, has its own different purposes, and we'll explore them. A lot of times we can actually use shortcuts. And if you notice, New has a keyboard shortcut of Command N, Open Command O. And the reason why I like to refer to these menus is because ultimately I would love it if all my students start to use the shortcut keys. And it really helps. Like for instance, here we have search, Command F. File save as, okay? We have Shift Command S. This is for Macintosh users, okay? So as a Windows user, you might have a other set of command keys over here that would reflect upon the action that you want to take. All right, so that's the whole beauty of the menu, because you can use these for whatever you want. For instance, I can just go ahead and click on File New, and there I have it. Another canvas can be created. Or I can just press, and in my keyboard, I can press Command N. And I'm going to do that, although you won't be able to see it. Command N, and there we have, I can create yet a fourth canvas. Pretty cool.